Hi, this is illustrator and author Carolyn Fisher with the video replay of my Make Your Picture Book party, where I was joined by 50 illustrators and writers from Calgary to California to Vegas to Spain. Follow along to brainstorm your 2022 goals, play some creative games, and make some stories and pictures. Feel free to tag me with your creative work on social media. And remember to subscribe to my email newsletter if you'd like invitations to future events. Whether you're a newbie or a pro, a writer or an illustrator or both, I invite you to check out my Picture Books 101 class, which launches on January 19th. In Picture Books 101, you can create a new project, whether written or illustrated, whether a book or a hook or a query or a portfolio or a website or anything else. Or bring your current project to revise and polish, or brainstorm strategies for pitching your work to publishers or agents. Ask all of your pressing questions about illustrating, writing, marketing, and more to me and the other writers and illustrators on our Picture Books 101 Facebook community page. Get energy to keep going in 3 live Zoom meetups, and work at your own pace through the material for the next year. Learn more on my website, carolynfisher.com, under the Take a Class tab. So let's get started with the Make Your Picture Book party. See you in my studio. Welcome, everybody. This is Carolyn. And I see, Christina, I can see that a few other people are entering the waiting room. So this is Carolyn Fisher, and I'm so happy to see you, or to see some of you. Maybe I'll see if I can get your faces up here. Yeah, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the Make Your Picture Book party. So my name is Carolyn Fisher, for those of you who haven't met me. And I'm a writer and an illustrator of books for kids. And so my thought today was that we would have a little Make Your Picture Book party, because we've all had a tough year. And I think that a lot of us have the creative impulse to make a book for kids, whether we're writing or drawing. And it's hard to do that in isolation, and we get energy from being around other people. So I thought that I would throw this party today. So anyway, I am sharing my screen. And so if you know where your annotate pencil is, please find it, and you can start doodling on this screen, sign your name, and say where you're from. And if you can't find your annotate pencil, get into the chat and introduce yourself and say where you're from. So I'm going to introduce myself in the chat. I'm Carolyn, like I said, Fisher, and I live in Calgary, Alberta. Whoops. Let's see if I can type this. All right, so I would love to see where you guys are from. And so say hi in the chat. And hi, Barb. Hi, Sharon Glick. Haven't seen you for many years, way too many years. Yeah, okay, so what we're gonna do, while we're waiting for everybody to gather, because it's probably going to take a couple more minutes for people to trickle in, we are going to draw on the doodle right here. If you, oh, hey, Deborah. Is that Deborah? You found it. That's so great. So yes, go ahead and sign and do a little sketch and do a little bit of drawing on the doodle. So wow, look at all of you guys. Wow, you filled up the chat already. Okay, so Janet wants to know where you find your annotate pencil, and usually you find your annotate pencil up by the screen share bar, and sometimes you have to click view options or the 3 dots that say more. So go ahead and take a look at that. So hi Brenda, hi Shalene, hi Christy, hi Lorraine, hi Tiffany, hi Sharon. Yeah, Sharon, did you find it yet?
Yes, just found it.
Excellent. You guys, this is awesome. Yeah, so sign and say where you're from. This is so great, actually, to see this picture filling up with all of your drawings. And your doodles and your signatures. So that is really cool.
Oh, I can still see everyone's going on, but I haven't found it yet. This is Christy. I
Hi,
see the
Christy.
3 dots, but I can't find any tools there. It's not working on mine.
So did you click the 3 dots?
Yeah, and they won't come down on my
Oh,
screen.
I'm
So maybe
sorry.
I'm on a Mac, so maybe that's why.
I'm on a Mac. I didn't click the 3 dots though. I clicked something else.
So who clicked something else? What did you click?
I did, but it was something you told us to maybe click.
Yeah, well, look at view option.
Yeah, it was under that.
Okay.
It was under view options, I think.
Sure. Cool.
And then it says annotate.
Oh yes, the
Under view
annotate. There we go. Thank you.
That sounded like Alexandra, was it?
It was. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, it's so good to hear you. All right, you guys, it's so fun just to watch what you're writing that I'm sort of flummoxed and I'm not drawing at all, but let's see what you have to say. This is really kind of fun. So I think that we have people here from all over the place, Edmonton, like Deborah, and Calgary, but also Spain and Montana and California and Vancouver. So you guys are from all over the place. It's remarkable to see you here. What we have in common is that we are all people who have an interest in making children's books. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today. And here's what we're going to do. So we're having a make your picture book party. And the reason is that we've all been kind of isolated through this time. And, you know, it's been a little tough. And what I have found is that it's easier to get energy when you're in a group and when you're in a community. And so we're going to get together today and we're going to do some story games and we're going to do some exercises and we're going to muster our energy for our creative projects ahead. And so I'm going to do a little intro in a bit, and then we are going to play a game which is called Name That Title. And then we're going to do a warm-up drawing. So don't worry, it's not a scary kind of drawing. And then we're going to talk about notebooks and sketchbooks. And we're going to talk a little bit about how we crystallize what our goals are and how we figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So we're going to do that. And we're going to have a couple of little character exercises. So that's what we're going to do. And then we might wind up with a little Q&A. And I expect that this might take about an hour or maybe an hour and 20 minutes. And if you have to say goodbye early because you have something else that you need to do, that's totally fine. If you want the video replay and you don't have, I don't have your email, make sure that I have your email address. And you can just email me and give it to me. And I'll send you the video replay. And also there's a handout that I'm going to distribute too. Okay, so I need to do some more screenshots of this graffiti wall because I think this is so great. And I should introduce Christina. So my friend Christina has kindly agreed to be the TA today. And Christina is a journalist and a writer, and she usually writes for adults. So she has come down to join us in the world of kidlit. So thank you so much for doing that, Christina. And she'll collect your questions in the chat if there's some question that needs to be saved for later for me to answer. And she's going to man or woman the admitting door. She's going to be our bouncer. So thank you for doing that, Christina. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's see. I need to take another screenshot of this. You know, I could just watch you guys doodle for a long time, I think. So, but I think we're going to move on. First, I want to see how many people are in here. Wow, there's 51 of us. That's amazing. Okay. So you guys, this looks cool, and I'm going to screenshot it because it looks so cool. And we're going to move on to the next slide. All right. So, like I said, my name is Carolyn Fisher, and I'm a writer and illustrator of books for kids. Let me see, we're going to fix this. we're going to clear the annotations now. We'll be able to see those more later. And actually, I'm going to stop sharing because I need to talk to you and see your faces for just a minute. Hi, wow, look at all of you. This is amazing. So good to see you. Okay, so I'm an illustrator and writer of books for kids. And what that means is that I make books that look like this and this and these. It's kind of hard to pick them up all in one fell swoop. So I've been doing this writing and illustrating thing. I trained as an illustrator and I learned how to write a little bit later. I'm still learning how to write. And so I've been doing this since the last millennium. And I taught at the Alberta College of Art and Design for a while. And but most of the time now, these days, I spend my time in my studio thinking up ideas out of my brain, wearing jammies and making books. And so anyway, I wanted to tell you about, I taught at ACAT for a while and I've been a studio artist for many years. And one day I had an idea and my idea was this. You know how you teach writers separately from illustrators? I was wondering, what would it be like if you had a class where you put the writers and the illustrators together to learn how to write picture books? And I was wondering about that because a picture book, which is the kind of book I like to do, a picture book is a hybrid medium where you have about 500 words and about 14 or 15 double page illustrations over 32 pages to tell your story. And in this hybrid medium, the words say what words say best, and the pictures say what the pictures say best. So what that means is that you don't get to say, the sky is blue and the grass is green, because the illustrations will say that for you. So when you're learning how to write picture books, what you want to do is you want to write in a really sparse way that leaves room for the illustrations to say what they're going to say. So I wondered if you put the writers and the illustrators together in a class, what I thought was that the illustrators would be able to teach the writers how to think visually. And the writers would be able to teach the illustrators how to think in terms of narrative arcs and pacing, because those things are really important when you're trying to take your 500-word story and stretch it out over 32 pages. So pre-pandemic, I booked a room and made a class. And after we had one class, the pandemic hit, but we moved online. So that turned out fine. And now, a couple years later, on January 19th, we'll start our third session of Picture Books 101, which is an 8-lesson class about how you write and illustrate picture books with both writers and illustrators in the class, and also a community. And I just want to rave about the community for a bit, because putting this class together and having the writers and illustrators work together, work side by side on their own projects, has been so much fun. And even though the Picture Books 101 class community contains people who are publishing prose to people who haven't done creative writing or art as adults at all, it turns out that every single one of us has something unique and inspiring to say. And whether you're newbie or whether you're seasoned, and whether you're a writer or an illustrator or both, you have something to contribute that gives energy to the rest of the group. So I just wanted to rave about that for a little bit. So speaking of getting energy for this big creative impulse that we share, that is the reason why we're here today. And so what we're going to do next is I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to play a game. So here's the game. Let's see. All right. Whoops. There we go. All right, this game is called Name That Title. And the point of this game is to figure out the title of the classic children's book from the line that I have up on the slides. Ooh, I'm supposed to be hiding the hints. You guys didn't see that, did you? Okay. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to write the answers in the chat. So I'm going to read through them. And if you know the answers, you can write it in the chat. Alexandra, something by Dr. Seuss. Well, Alexandra. Oh, hi, Polly. I'm so glad to see you here. Hi, Judith. All right. So number one is in the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. And I think somebody got that one. Alexandra, did you have that one? Would you say that was number one?
Yeah, there are 3 of us who got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Shalene, also you got that. Excellent. Okay, so number 2, a person's a person, no matter how small. Did someone get that one? Let's see. Oh, Arlie, you got it. Number 2 is Horton Hears a Who. So the elephant is making a statement about humans and persons. Okay, number 3, one evening after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. Okay, so does anyone know number 3? Harold's Purple Crayon. That's right, Bev Taylor and Betsy and Arlie. You almost got it. Harold of the Purple Crayon. That's excellent. Okay, so number 4. This is a bit of a cheat, I have to say. Where's Papa going with that axe? Anybody got number 4? The thing that's hard about, oh, Brenda, you have it. Charlotte's Web. The thing that's the trick question about that is it's not a picture book, but it's such a great first line that I couldn't resist putting it into this collection. Where's Papa going with that axe? It's terrifying. Okay, number 5, let the wild rumpus begin. I think this one's easy and you guys all probably know it. Let's see, where the wild things are. Lorraine got it. Probably other people did too. All right, and number 6, a mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse and the mouse looked good. Oh, Lisa, you got that, the Gruffalo. So number 6 is the Gruffalo. You guys, that's great. I wish I had a whole collection of them and I wish we could do 6 more, but I think we might move on. So Lisa, you read that one many times on Thursday, so you're all prepared. That's excellent. It's worth reading over many times for sure. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's our little Name That Title game. And here's what we're going to do next. We are going to do a warm-up. Because, this is a class and we're just getting to know each other. And so we're going to do a warm-up. And in this warm-up, we are going to be drawing, but don't worry if you're not an illustrator. This is not the kind of drawing where you're trying to represent. This is the kind of drawing where you're learning to let go of your inhibitions, which is a helpful thing when you're trying to make a creative work, because what I have noticed in my work is there are a lot of little voices inside my head that are often telling me my work is not going to be good enough. And that makes it hard for me to start sometimes. So here's what we're going to do. Let's see. I have to get my next slide up. This is a warm-up drawing. We are going to draw this here boot. And we are going to do a blind contour drawing. Now, if you're an artist, you probably know what this is. A blind contour drawing is a drawing that you make where you do not look at the page. You can look at the page one time when you put your pen down, but that's it. So anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of paper or your notebook. I'm just going to use my notebook like this. And you're going to use a colored marker. So a blue or a red if you happen to have it. If you don't, then use what you have. Okay. And then we're going to take about a minute and we're going to start drawing, but don't do it yet. When we draw, we're going to look very carefully at the boot and trace the outside edges. And so we're going to notice that there's a bunch of fuzzy stuff at the top. By the way, it's been -25 for the last 3 weeks here in Calgary. And so I would say that we all have, all the Calgarians and all the Albertans have a bad case of freezer burn. And that's why we are drawing this warm boot for our warm up. Okay, so anyway, when we draw, we're gonna follow the outline and the inline with our eye, and we're gonna put a little drawing down that traces the path of our eye. And I'm not gonna lift my pencil up or my pen up. I'm gonna start with my light color first, and I'm gonna do 2 drafts. And so the first draft is gonna be in a light color, like this blue, or maybe a purple or a red if you have it. And if you don't worry about it. And I'm going to give us about a minute to draw. And what I want you to do is I want you to keep your pen attached to the paper, touching the paper for about 90% of this drawing. And so that means that you're going to have to back up and, you know, go backwards and make weird little inside crisscross drawings that don't actually match what you see. And that is totally fine. And also because you're not looking at the drawing, your parts of the drawing are not going to mesh. They're not going to be attached. They're going to spring off the drawing in ways that are sort of unexpected. And so that's okay. I want you to do that. And I want you to draw for about a minute. So let's get started. Get out your marker, get out your paper, and let's start doing a blind contour drawing of this boot for about a minute. So I'm going to put my pen down. I'm going to look while I'm putting my pen down, and I'm going to start drawing. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, go. So we're going to have about a minute. Actually, we're going to have however much time I want, but I'm going to say it's a minute. All right. So, and feel free to draw the inside of the picture and the outside of the picture. Go ahead and draw the laces and the little clasps, because they make sort of interesting shapes on the interior of the boot. And then like right at the end, I think I might add some stitches if I can, but I don't want to do that at the beginning because then I have to lift my pen up. And then who knows where I'll put it down. It could be anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds. So 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So now I'd like to know, does anybody want to share their first draft of their blind contour drawing? And I'm happy to share mine actually. So, oh yeah, like if you want to put it up, oh, you guys, this looks so great. I just need to see all of these. Yeah, and don't feel like you have to show it if you don't want to. But one thing I love about this exercise is that you're not even looking at the picture, and what it shows you is that there can be some value in happy accident. And also, like if you can't control it, if you use a big bulky pen and you have to relinquish control, and sometimes your drawing turns out better than you would have thought that it possibly could. So, okay, you guys put your drawings up and let me take a screenshot of it, okay? And no pressure if you don't feel like it. Awesome. Okay, and then we're going to keep your pictures up because I'm not done yet. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do another draft right on top. So this is a technique that I like to use because I saw years ago that Art Spiegelman did this when he was working on his Mouse comics and other comics too. And my sketches are super messy. And so I like to, get comfortable with the mess. And let's see. I just need to clear this screen here. All right. So I'm going to take my black marker and I'm going to put it down on the paper and I'm going to do another one. And don't start quite yet, because what I want you to know is that this is a second draft that is not intended to improve the work of the first draft, but it's just intended to show you that when you make creative work, often you do more than one draft. Okay, so I'm going to put my pen down on the paper and I'm going to start drawing, and you can too. 3, 2, 1, go. And so I'm going to give myself about a minute. And if there's anything that I didn't really like, it's a blind contour drawing. And I'm going to draw this blind contour drawing without looking at my paper. So I'm just doing it by feel and by look. So I'm just guessing. So here we go. And like I said before, I'm not gonna lift my pen up very much. All right. And I'm gonna give you guys about 10 more seconds. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So let's see. How did that work? It looks cool. I love it. Okay, let me take a screenshot of this. You guys, it's so cool. I don't know. I think it's pretty fun oh, I have a stinky marker too, I must say. I think it's pretty fun to see what we can do when we're not even looking and we have to let go of control a little bit. Okay, so that is fantastic. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to stop this share for a second because I need to get rid of something on the screen here, and then I'm going to start it back up again. Okay. So here's what we're going to do next. All right. Oh, we're going to talk about notebooks a little bit. So people who have taken a class with me before know that I never shut up about sketchbooks and notebooks, because when you are a creative person, whether you're a writer or an illustrator or a scientist or a musician, you need a place to grow and develop your ideas. And so that place for me is my sketchbook or notebook. But here's something that I have found out. If I am working in a very beautiful sketchbook, sometimes it kind of puts me off. Let me see. If I have a sketchbook that has, I can't see myself, so I'm not really sure if I'm on the camera here. There we go. If I have a sketchbook that has beautiful artist paper that is cold press and very heavy weight, sometimes when I'm not feeling super confident, I might be a little scared to put anything down in the sketchbook. So I went to a talk by Linda Berry a couple years when we were going to talks, and she does something really cool, which is she does all her work on these old notebooks. And so I ordered like 10 of them, and I have been working in them. And the good thing about working in a cheap notebook is that you're not worried about messing up any page. And so here's a stack of notebooks. And so I just wanted to give a little plug for the utility of working in a notebook that is not too precious, so that you can lighten up and loosen up while you're doing your work. And hopefully that will take you to a place where you get creative energy. And I gave myself a little post-it in the corner there that said that I wanted to talk about 3 things today for sure. And one of them is notebooks. So, you know, I'm sure that probably everybody has some kind of system for notebooks, and whether it's on paper or whether it's electronic, it doesn't really matter. You just have to figure out what your way is of collecting and developing ideas, because you have some kind of impulse to make a creative project. So notebooks are really important to me for that. And then second thing I wanted to talk about, and we're going to get to that right away, is bite-sized goals. And third thing that I want to talk about that's really important is community. So we're going to talk about all 3 of those things today. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next slide. All right. Let's see. Okay, so it's January. It's been a tough couple of years. And, you know, we're all thinking about what we wish would be different in January. And we are all thinking about what we would like to do. And we're kind of taking stock of what it's been like in the past while and what it's going to be like next year. And so I know I have ideas of things that I want to do. And I saw, and some people, by the way, are really structured in the way that they put goals together. And some people will put spreadsheets together and stuff like that. And that is not really my way of doing it, probably. But I saw something cool, which was illustrator Julia Rothman, who is a fantastic visual journalist who does work for the New York Times. She has a column in the New York Times every week, was saying that she does a more and a less list every year. And so I think that it would be great if you guys could get out your notebooks or your piece of paper and start thinking about, what do you want more of this year and what do you want less of this year? And maybe, if you don't mind, you could share some of those in the chat. So what do you want more of and what do you want less of? So one thing that I want more of, let's see. Whoops. So I would like to see some things that you want more of in the chat. More focus. Ooh, I like that. I have to write this down. Okay, I might not keep up with you. Whoops, let's see, what pen do I have here? Okay, Christina, maybe I can get you to keep up with those and say them to me so I can write them down. I need some more and some less.
Sure thing. So more focus, more calm, lots of calms, more outside sketching, less screen time.
Oh yeah. I have scrolling on there too.
More reading.
How about checking likes? Less checking likes.
Yeah. More connection.
Less COVID restrictions.
Yeah, less COVID restrictions.
That would be nice.
Somebody put sleep, and I'm guessing that's a more.
Let's hope so. More sleep, less insomnia. Less anxiety.
Less trauma.
More fully developing an idea. Sharon Glick said that. And by the way, Sharon Glick, you have the coolest daily comic that you post. It's like a journal comic, and I love that. So do not stop doing that, please. So just in case you were contemplating that. Barb says more creative time. Yeah, more creative time. Totally. More chocolate. We are out of chocolate at my house this weekend. It is a terrible, terrible tragedy. And it's -25. What a terrible thing. Connection, love, community, friendship.
I like less perfectionism,
Ooh,
less procrastinating.
live meetings. Yeah, that'd be nice. Less procrastinating.
Less inhibition.
Yeah, that's good. Travel. Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Trauma, less trauma. Good, sounds good. Less loss is one that I thought of, but you know what? I can't actually control that. Too bad. It sounds cool though. More structure.
More
Yeah.
unity.
Yeah, that's good. Christy, less time alone, less alone time, but more meditation. Good one. Less worry. Yeah. More finishing unfinished things. I didn't make my paper big enough. Well, anyway, less drama. That would be excellent. Less division. Whoops, I put that in the wrong row. Sorry, guys. Less news. I was thinking more reading and more music, for sure. More collaboration. Less second guessing. That's great. Whoops. More trust, less second guess. Time and courage to seek representation. Yep.
More play.
Oh yeah, good. Okay. More looking at others, less introspection. Okay. More live performances. Alexandra, you come from the theater world, don't you? That is hard.
Yeah.
Less self-doubt. Sorry, did you want to say something about that?
No, it's okay. Just to agree.
More publication. More healthy endorphins. Okay, I cannot keep up with this. I don't think comparison, but I'm gonna do like 5 more. Self-doubt is a smart one. Less assuming. Less screen time. I think I wrote that already, but more organization. More solutions, fewer problems. Okay. These are great. Less buying more art supplies. Haha, that's a good one. Are you sure about that, Kathleen Noble? There's a lot of joy in buying all the art supplies, but I have less space to put the more art supplies in, so that's a problem for sure. More risks, creative ones, that's great. More listening, more empathy, more nature, less clutter, less stuff, less indecisiveness. You guys, this is really great. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up here, but I'm gonna take a screenshot so that we can remember it forever, and we'll circulate it around afterwards. Less impulse buying. Yeah, okay, so that's more and less. So I wanna make another list. And this next list, let's see, we're gonna clear this. Oh, I see. Okay, so we're gonna clear this. And we're gonna start talking about big and little. Whoa, let's try that again. Okay, so one thing that I liked about going to Linda Berry's talk, and she's a genius comic creator, by the way, if I didn't say that before. And she has written a couple of books about creativity and teaching and how she makes comics, and they look like this. So she made them using her cheap scrapbooks, which is a brilliant idea, I think. Anyway, so one thing that I wanted to talk about was Linda Berry has this brilliant idea, which is if you are a little bit intimidated by your beautiful blank white page in your perfect sketchbook, like this, for example, a thing that you can do with your page, we'll do it with this one over here, because sometimes being intimidated about that page makes it a little bit hard for you to start your project. So a thing that you can do with your page is you can take your big marker and you can make an X on the page like this. And she calls it an X page. And with this X page, then you start your brainstorming and you start your writing and you start your drawing. You cannot wreck this page. It already has a big X on it. And so if you do that first, it removes one of the obstacles that might be stopping you from doing your creative thing. Okay, so we're going to make a list, and I made it an X page list. Let's see. Whoops, hang on a second. And we're going to think about the things that we'd like to accomplish in this next year. And we're going to classify those things as big and little. And we're going to start by making a list of big things, gigantic things. All right, so this next year, I have some big ambitions. One of my big ambitions is, let's see, I sure would like to launch a book that would be a New York Times bestseller. So let's see, I'm just going to write that down on my big page. And I want you guys to come up with some big, ambitious, lofty goals too. And write it in the chat, and then we'll scribble it down on my big list. Okay, so. Okay. Let's see, another one is that I would sure like to have universal acclaim and critical adulation. That would be nice. Okay, getting published. Okay, it's a good one. Writing full time, leave day job. Leave day job. Okay. Let's see, get new reps for card line. Okay, so let's write down rep. And 100 stores. Organized office. Marlene, I would like somebody to do that for me too. I feel like I don't want to have to be the person who does it myself, and therefore it will never happen. But I'm sure that you are probably more capable in this area. So what you can do is write a complete published book, says Barb. What you can do is write your ideas in the chat, and I'll scribble it onto the illustration. Okay, so find a contract. I got one. I would like to write and illustrate a 90-page graphic novel. Have I started it? No. But hey, you never know. The longest book I've ever illustrated has been 48 pages. So I can see that I will have some work to do. Sell some art, representation. Write and illustrate children's books. Someone to handle my social media for me. I love that. I would like that too. So social media promo person. Memoir and children's book. Chapter book. Okay, excellent. All right. So we're going to leave the big ones for a minute, and we're going to talk about little. So here's the thing about the big goals. Big goals, sometimes they are so overwhelming that too is an obstacle for us to get started. So sometimes it can be helpful if you make a teeny little goal, because then you can have the feeling of accomplishment after you complete your achievable teeny goal. So I think I'm going to write achievable right here. So what are some little goals that you might be able to do this year? So for example, I have a friend, Lisa Braun, who's a wonderful woodcut artist. And she told me one time that if she was not feeling very much like working, she would set the kitchen timer for 5 minutes. And she would say to herself, okay, I only have to work for 5 minutes. And then usually by the time the 5 minutes was up, she would have gotten interested in the project so she could work for longer. So I'm going to write down 5-minute time slot because, you know, I think I can do that. 100 words per day. Patricia McCowan, you said that you want to write 100 words per day. And by the way, my longest book has 1,000 words in it. So that sounds amazing. So good for you. Okay, 10 minutes a day, 100 words a day. Yeah, those sound achievable. Take the stairs. Cool. Yeah, it does take a lot to write short, Patricia McCowan. Like it's 500 words in your picture book, but they have to be exactly the right words. And it's very tough to find those for sure. Brenda, finish PB manuscript. I thought you were finished that, Brenda, but I'm sure that you can finish it if you want to, or you probably have a new one. Okay, write a chapter a day. Wow, that's fantastic. Dance my story, says Karen. That's amazing. Edit out 100 words of my PB manuscript. Excellent. Get those scissors, get that black marker, take those words out. Christy, you say you want to write a daily or maybe weekly haiku as journal. That is so fun. That is great. I hope you share that sometime with us. Will you? Okay, Maureen, you're saying that you could do 1 sketch a day. I think that seems possible. And Hillary, you say that you could send a marketing email once a month. That seems like an achievable goal. Alexander, 10 minutes of tidying and organizing per day, and draw every day, and submit my PB manuscript to 1 contest. That seems like an achievable goal. Lori says, write regularly in one of the many Doodle books I keep buying or people gift me. Excellent. Yes, you have the place to do it, so I guess you can do it. Write a query letter to no one. Is that just for practice? If you're writing a query letter, I mean, if you can write a query letter to no one, the pressure's off, I guess. So that would be a good thing to practice. Barb, you say that you want to enter a contest. Okay, so those all sound like pretty achievable things to do. Have we missed anything? Excellent. Okay, so yeah, you're saying that you would like to write a query letter to no one for practice. You know, I think that every time you do that, you get a little bit better at it, is what I've discovered. Alexandra, you'd like to update your website. That is not a tiny goal, Alexandra, but I applaud you for it anyway. Brainstorm 10 story ideas. Yeah, we might do that right here today in our next exercise. Debbie, you say, get my storyteller blog website created and posted for agent access. Again, not small, but you know what? You can break it down. Like you can say, okay, I will do 1 page. My website will be 1 page. And it can be that way for a while. So you can break it down into bites so that it is more achievable. All right, research publishers and build a short list that matches my work. Work 1 hour a week on website. Okay, that's that seems achievable. Lisa, you say you want to gather all the lullabies from my lullaby CD. And Maureen, you want to make a list of 10 potential agents. Those are all really great. So you know what? I got distracted and didn't write them down on my illustration here, but that's totally fine. And these are great ideas, you guys. So thank you for brainstorming with me. All right, so we're going to move on from this. So I guess the point is that, I mean, we have these big ambitious ideas, and sometimes the idea is so big and complicated that it's hard to figure out how you might tackle it. And so if you can break it down into small bite sizes, that gives you a better chance of making some headway and having the feeling of accomplishment that will energize you to keep on going a little bit further. This is Carolyn, just hopping on to say that I had to split the 1.5 hour long video into 2 parts. We've just finished part 1 of 2. For the rest of the workshop, open part 2 of 2 and join us for a crowdsourced character, a story about a giantess and a hippo, and some Q&A. See you there.